Just waiting for the video to load so I can see if the audio's working. Are you working? Yes, cool. Alrighty, so let's get into it. Welcome everybody to today's video. This is a live stream, but it is technically, like, if you're tuning in after the fact, that's completely fine. We are doing a July predictions reading for Leo, which means we're on the fixed signs today. I'm starting with Leo because it's going to be Leo's birthday next, so happy birthday to the July Leo babies. And then we're going to be doing Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. In today's July predictions reading, we're going to start by having a look at your overall theme with the Telezma Tarot deck. This tells us the main theme for your July month, and then we'll get more specific by getting cards from the Celestial Bodies Oracle deck to tell us about your love, your life, and your finances for July specifically. From there, we'll use Tarot, which is the Light Seers Tarot deck, to get a breakdown of those three areas of your life and more specific predictions. So that is what we're doing in today's July predictions reading. I'm going to take a moment now to tune into your energy and to set my intentions. I highly recommend you set your intentions as well. Think about the questions you may have or the answers you're seeking about July, and also consider setting signs of confirmation that you may need to see or hear in order to confirm that this reading is for you. With that being said, let's tune into your energy. Spirit, please connect me to Leo. Please help me offer Leo the most clear, honest messages for their July month. Please tune me into Leo's energy, Spirit. Angels, ancestors, and spirit guides, thank you. Okay, pretty chill energy, Leo. Like, that completely chilled me out. So I'm interested to see what we have for you. What is going on for Leo, Spirit? What card from the Telezma Tarot deck best describes Leo's July? What card from this deck? Thank you, Spirit. Alrighty, so the first card I have for you is the Knight of Swords. Interesting, and we also have the Fool at the back of the deck. I'm just going to bring you down a little bit. So, gosh, lots of air energy, Leo. I don't know how you feel about air. Maybe you've got some air in your other signs. This reading is intended for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, or those that have strong Leo placements. I do think with this Fool card reversed at the back of the Telezma Tarot deck, July is definitely about learning and trying to assess what's tying you down or what could be holding you back. There is a reality check feeling about July for you, and it's not supposed to make you feel like you're not doing enough. It is supposed to help you be more aware of what is a real barrier for you. And although, because these are air cards, the barrier may mostly exist in your mind, that doesn't make it any less real. So in July, you're realizing how certain barriers exist within your mindset, and these barriers are like parameters that you can operate under. They have something to do with a new beginning. And in order for you to focus on this new beginning, in order for you to make something out of this new beginning, you have to be aware of your barriers. You have to be, I'm even hearing, I have to work within my parameters. So Spirit's saying you should see this as a filter that's helping you filter out all the other stuff so that you can focus specifically on what you need to in order to be most successful, Leo. So with this Fool card reversed, there is a strong feeling here of having some sort of filter, of being specific and of staying focused while working with real parameters, real barriers. So with the Knight of Swords, there's a lot of action in July for you. This tells me that there's a lot of desire for you to not only take action, but to try to move things forward. Now, the Swords cards are about your head, basically. It's like what you want to say, how you're thinking, and then how that translates into action. But the Knight of Swords for me is action. I do see knights as actions. So we are spending a little bit of time thinking, but mostly we're just trying to turn our thoughts into action. So the nature of July for you could be very fast paced. It could be about quickly reacting to what you're seeing, and also how fast you can react to the ideas that you have. So let's see how that translates with the other energies in July for you. We're going to pull out cards now to have a look at your love, your life in general, and your finances. So Spirit, for Leo, what is happening in love for July? We have Virgo showing up for love. What is happening in life for Leo? We have masculine. And what is happening in their finances for Leo Spirit? We have square. Okay. At the back of the deck is 33 reversed. So overall, it seems like July is about staying focused. You don't want to take on too much. In fact, you're probably going to say no more than you will say yes. July is about protecting you, protecting your peace, and also just making sure that you're not taking too much on board. Now, this could be frustrating, especially if you have a lot of things that you want to do with this Knight of Swords, and especially if other people are expecting more from you, Leo. You're going to have to be telling someone you love, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that in July. And because this is the number 33, it is a significant rejection. It's not just like a little, no, but maybe next time. It feels like you're establishing a personal boundary with a loved one. And you're basically telling them, I can't because I need to focus on me. And for some reason, this feels like it's offending that loved one. They're taking it personally. Now, I'm not here to start drama, so let's get into your reading and let's have a look at why this could be happening. Starting with your love life over here, with the Virgo energy there, you're approaching love in July from this space of trying to be practical, trying to be a little bit methodical, and making sure that you're not giving too much, but you're not taking too much either. And for that reason, when it comes to romance, you are likely to focus on either yourself because you know you can match your needs, or you're going to want to be around people who can give as good as they get. And so if you are single, you're either going to be wanting to meet someone who's a giver, who's generous, who's a flatterer, who's, you know, really there to give you attention and to make you feel good, or you're going to be very aware of how people just aren't giving that to you. The overall energy being Virgo means that there's meaningful connections here. And in romance, look, if you're not getting that from anyone else, you're definitely giving it to yourself. But the whole energy here in love is meaningful. Meaningful interactions, meaningful connections, and feeling like you're getting that external, I want to say validation, because it feels gratifying, not just in that, like this is somebody complimenting you on how you look. It's gratifying because there's meaning behind the attention you're getting. It feels genuine with Virgo. It's not just flattery. It's like a genuine boost to how you see yourself. So that's interesting. We'll get tarot out to see what happens there. But just quickly touching on life and finances over here with the masculine energy, we can see that your life in general has a very strong push energy to it. This masculine energy wants to create, and it also wants to achieve. So where feminine energy likes to create by going with the flow and feeling their way through a situation, the masculine energy wants to create by knowing and proving that they can do. So there's a lot of push in your life. There's a lot of mustering up energy, staying motivated, trying to be determined, which tells me that even when you're not at work, even when you're supposed to be relaxing, you've got this sense of purpose in July that's really sparking your creativity, but it's also keeping you motivated. It's making you want to do things in your free time. You seem to be achieving something and actively working towards it in July. This is requiring a lot of effort and arguably discipline, but also just motivation, trying to stay on track with this. So that's what's happening in your life. In finances, career, and anything money related, we see square. So there are some challenges here in your finances. There's some conflict between your expenses and your income. So we will have a look at what that means with tarot, but usually that means that we're spending more money than we're making, and we may be spending more money that we weren't planning on spending with this square as well. So July could be a month with a lot of expenses. Heads up, be a bit careful, but we'll get some tarot out to explain that towards the end. Let's have a look at your love life with tarot now. Spirit, what is happening in love? For Virgo. Leo. Sorry, Leo. It's because Virgo's right here. What is happening in love for Leo, Spirit? What is happening in love for Leo? Okay. We have the Five of Pentacles reversed. What is happening in love for Leo? We have the Wheel. Interesting. Look, I don't know if you want to stay focused on love, because there is something here about you trying to just go with the flow, trying to be more open, and honestly, trying to just be more, how would I word it? Okay, let's start with the Knight of Swords, because this is showing us similarities now. So we know that this card over here is your overall energy for July. But when we look at love specifically, we have it again, this time reversed. So this means that when it comes to love, this is not your main focus. Love feels like a supplementary energy. It feels like something that either is going to happen or it's not something that you just need to focus on. You're hoping that love just kind of either happens in July, or that it's a byproduct of other new beginnings, of other active goals that you're working on with the Knight of Swords. But you've literally turned your back on love, Leo. So I'm not sure what's happened here, but even if you're in a relationship, it feels like love is something that's just got to happen without you micromanaging it. It's something that's a part of a bigger plan, but it's not your main focus. So let's talk about the themes, and then I'll see how I can relate that to individual circumstances, like if you're single, if you're in a relationship, or if you're in a situationship. Let's look at your themes first. So what I'm seeing here, let's talk about these two cards, just because they do spark a lot of, a lot of people recognize the Three of Swords. A lot of people immediately see the Three of Swords and know the Three of Swords. So in your reading, the Three of Swords does represent expansion, but it also represents you being able to have difficult conversations about your love life in order to move forward. In July, you are talking to someone about something that you're not happy with, and you need to have this conversation in order to either find common ground or really just focus on yourself moving forward, which is why the Three of Swords has this heartbreak card. What's the word? Like a heartbreak reputation, because it is a difficult conversation about the future, and we need to represent ourselves in that conversation. We need to talk about what's bothering us. We need to talk about what we want moving forward. And we also need to stand up for ourselves and react appropriately when we hear back in this conversation. So it is going to be something that I feel contributes to this Knight of Swords energy, where you're almost turning your back on love. Because with the Five of Pentacles here, what I'm seeing is that you start July with this overall feeling of, I want to make July better than my other months. Like July is where I really focus on my love needs, on connection with the Five of Pentacles, and I need to bring more value into my life. And so what you're doing here feels like a filter. It feels like you're being very clear about what you need in love, and you're stepping up for yourself. If you're in a relationship, this is you and your partner actively trying to create more meaningful connection together. If you're single, this is you actively trying to make more meaningful connection by being more careful about the types of people that you let come and go from your love life, recognizing that you deserve more. You're not here looking for breadcrumbs with the Five of Pentacles. You deserve more. And it's ultimately you recognizing that things aren't going to change unless you start that change, unless you commit to that change. So the Five of Pentacles reversed is about coming out of a feeling of being impoverished, of not having enough. And it can feel like breadcrumbs in circumstances where we were accepting the bare minimum, or we just weren't filling up our own cup first and taking care of ourselves first, which allowed other people to take advantage of that. So take it as it resonates, but you are starting this month with this intention of focusing on more meaningful connection. Now, the wheel recognizes this shift in your energy. The wheel represents the universe stepping in, seeing this shift in your love life and going, oh my gosh, Leo, I love this for you. I'm going to create that with you. And I'm going to start giving you little energetic inspiration. I'm going to throw a little bit of passion into your life, and I'm going to see what you can do with it. So the wheel is a little bit cunning in that way. Like, it's not promising you anything, but it's attempting to provoke you with opportunity, and it's waiting to see what you will do. I see the Wheel of Fortune as a positive turn of events that you have to turn into something. It's almost like somebody gives you a lottery ticket, but you have to go and make that effort, right? To follow up with whatever the lottery is, and pay your taxes if you're in that kind of country and all of that before you can cash in your prize. Does that make sense? But if you continue pursuing your path of fortune, the wheel will work with you to co-create that fortune. So it's about giving in order to receive with the universe, co-creating good fortune for yourself. And so that's what's happening in your love life. It would be nice if it was a lottery ticket, but it has to do with fortune of love. So it's about receiving a blessing in love and good news in love, a good turn of events in love that you have to turn into something. It starts as an inspiration, like a little idea of, that could be cool. Maybe a new attraction or a new experience that you could go through with your current love interest. But it is this positive turn of events in love that creates a new awareness, a new experience within you that makes you go, maybe I should push myself a little bit. Maybe I should go out of my comfort zone. Maybe I should try something new. Maybe I should put myself in a different environment and see what happens. Maybe my lover and I could try this instead and see what happens. Ultimately, this positive feeling leads towards this awareness of how your life is moving in a direction that requires some tough decisions. So while the wheel is blessing you with good fortune, it means that you have to decide where you're growing to next. You want more connection. The universe is giving you the chance to experience more, but this means you have to leave something or someone behind. So with the Three of Swords, you will be making a tough decision, and you'll be having difficult conversations with people that involve you and them talking about what the future holds and whether that future is shared or whether it means separating and being able to experience other things. So it does feel like you turn your back on love just because you're not really focusing on romance. You're focusing on meaningful connection. You're focusing on practical goals. You're focusing on this new passion that the universe has given you. And you're trying to take that seriously, which means having serious conversations. So that's what I'm seeing in love, Leo. Let's have a look at your life now to see how that fits into all of this. Now, in life, we had the masculine card, if I'm correct. Yes. Let's see what's going on in Leo's life in general, Spirit. This is where we may also hear about family, friends, hobbies, interests, anything to do with your life in general. What is happening for Leo in July? Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. Look at that Three of Swords peeking out at us again. So you make these decisions in romance because it's for the benefit of your overall lifestyle. What we're seeing there with the Three of Swords reversed is that romance has to fit into everything else. There are bigger goals that you're chasing, Leo, and July feels like the time to pursue. So with the Nine of Wands at the back of the deck, your life feels like it's begging for relief, as though July is the month where, yes, you're focused on doing things, on reacting quickly, and on physically pursuing certain goals, but it's coming from a place of working smarter, not harder, trying to have more of a balance in your lifestyle. And with the Nine of Wands reversed, July feels like a chance for a relief, like a break from the chaos. So that's interesting. It's like you've had a busy couple of months, or this year has just already nearly brought you to burnout. So July is where you get to pick and choose how to invest your energy and when to be a part of other people's plans, when to pull back versus when to step up. And honestly, the Nine of Wands is a very powerful way of setting boundaries, energetic boundaries, and also having the kind of boundaries that reset other people's expectations. So instead of people expecting you to do things, July is where you say no and they get the hint that, okay, so Leo just needs space right now. We can't be expecting Leo to do the most for us. July is where you show people and you tell people, if you want something done, you need to do it because I'm not going to be doing it. Like, I need to focus on me. So that's the energy here in July when it comes to your life. And this feels like an energetic boundary that you have with family, but it could also include some friendships. We can see with the Queen of Pentacles right next to this masculine energy that July is really about you embracing your sovereignty. There's a strong feeling of autonomy here, of being able to manage your health, your lifestyle, and everything in between. And you taking that seriously. July is where you really take these material aspects of your life seriously, not because of the money, but because of the stability, of the security, and also the responsibility. Some of you guys are responsible for children, or you're responsible for family. But at the very least, the Queen of Pentacles is always responsible for themselves. They're a pillar of their community, and they know that they need to take care of themselves because they have other people who rely on them one way or another. The way that I see the Queen of Pentacles is like a manager, and they're the best manager because they're good at managing time, they're good at managing people, and they're also good at the interactions. They're not the type of manager that can't manage themselves well. This is a person who reacts well under pressure. But just because you have that ability doesn't mean you should always be under pressure. And that's what this feels like with these two cards here. You have the chance to just enjoy yourself, to really just have July be the month about you with this Nine of Cups. So there is this positive feeling of maybe a wish coming true in July, but the Nine of Cups to me is also a card of self-fulfillment, where we are focusing on our own happiness, our own joy, and what makes us feel connected to our experiences. So when we look at your life and your lifestyle, you're going to be choosing to do things that genuinely make you happy. And with this Nine of Cups, you're also seeing this as a constant practice. It's not I'm going to do it tomorrow, but I won't be able to do it next week. No. We're making time throughout the month to do this. And with the Seven of Pentacles at the end of this reading, I feel like your lifestyle in July is really about uprooting what isn't working and getting back on track. Feeling like, first of all, you're in control of your lifestyle, of your health, of your well-being. Feeling like you have a better relationship with your family, and feeling like you have time to do the things that you want to do, but you're not putting too much pressure on yourself. Even though we have this masculine energy here, it feels like this is more about taking the power back and having the ability to do things, but not pressuring yourself to do things. So I do see you spending time with a very select few group of people in July. Your core family unit is what I'm hearing. Anything and anyone else needs to work around your schedule with the Queen of Pentacles. And July is the month where you're pulling anything out. If it doesn't work, now we're resetting. This is where we evaluate the progress, and this is where we start from scratch if we need to. So to put this into practice, I feel like there was something that you had been working on at the start of the year, or maybe at the end of last year, and it didn't get your full attention. Other things popped up, or you just got distracted, or you fell off the wagon is what I'm also hearing. But in July, you get to revisit that tangible goal, whether it was a fitness goal, a health goal, a financial goal, or a lifestyle goal. July is where you get to figure out how not just to get back on track, but how to revisit that goal and to make it more realistic. So it does feel like we're getting to do little things that we procrastinated on in July. And we're doing it because it makes us happy, and because it helps us feel good, and because it's on our terms is what it feels like. Hi Jen, welcome. We've just finished life. We're going to look at finances now for Leo. So this is where we had square. Let's see what's going on with your finances. Leo, what happened? Spirit, what is going on here with their finances in July? What is going on with Leo's finances in July, Spirit? Okay, whoa, all right. We have the Four of Swords. We have the Three of Swords. Goodness, that Three of Swords is just obsessed with you. It's nearly come out in every section of your reading. So it does come back to this Fool energy and what I said in the beginning. In order for you to truly embrace your new beginnings that are happening, they may not feel like they're happening in July, but they're going to be happening this year. you do have to realize what your mental barriers are, and you have to figure out where the parameters are, what kind of filters should you be putting on so that you can focus more and yeah, not get too distracted or overwhelmed by the unknown. It feels like it's kind of like for some reason I'm seeing like a bowling alley, and you know how you have like the gutter guards up so that your ball goes towards the pins. Instead of no gutter guards with the full upright, the universe is putting some gutter guards on so that you do land in the strike zone, but also so that you don't have an overwhelming sense of fear holding you back, which is why these mental barriers are also just about having opinions and knowing where you sit and what you want so that you can get certain goals started in July so that you're not procrastinating for too much longer. So when it comes to finances, this might be a bit boring for you, Jen, because you've come at the finances part. But when it comes to finances, with the Four of Pentacles reversed, I do think that there is a chance here to confront a financial limitation head on and to really figure out either how you're going to meet that financial budget or how you're going to survive off of a restricted financial income. And you do make it happen with the Four of Pentacles reversed, but it does feel like a very real barrier with the square here. You almost have to be very aware of the fact that what you want needs to be in balance with what you're making. And for some reason in July, I don't know if it's because you're trying to save money for something bigger or if you're trying to pay off something before the end of the financial year here in Australia. I'm not sure what it is, but it just feels like with the Four of Swords reversed, you can't afford to not take your finances seriously in July. It's not about micromanaging to the point where you're not sleeping well at night, because that is a very real possibility with the Four of Swords reversed. It is just about being consciously aware of your financial situation. Don't check out completely. Don't take your number and your balance for granted. So the Four of Swords would, to me, be about making sure that you're checking daily, at least before you make that first transaction or before you go to bed. How much are we working with? How much closer am I? And for some reason, this has a lot to do with you staying on track with the Knight of Swords, but it also has a lot to do with you making sure that you're not overspending. Because I do think with the Three of Swords here, when it comes to money, there's something happening in July that you have to readjust your own expectations and make a really tough decision about what you're going to do. And it has to do with something that you had planned for. So you were maybe preparing to spend money on something or save money or reach some sort of financial goal. And in July, you have to either cut corners or you have to figure out a way to make it happen more realistically. Because the Three of Swords isn't about imagination, it's about a very real conversation about your finances. And honestly, with the Three of Swords here, as long as you're having this conversation, you're making progress. They make this card look terrifying in every tarot deck. I've never seen the Three of Swords look like it feels to me. Like maybe that's just because of all my air and earth, but it is a necessary part of your expansion. It's a reality check where you're in the driver's seat when this card's upright. You're the one having the conversation and you get to say, look, this is where I'm coming from. So it is about you having control, but it's also about you knowing what you need to do. And so in July, you're having that ability to have a realistic conversation about your finances and to realistically talk about, well, how do I get out of this? How do I resolve this? How do I make this better? And as soon as you have that conversation, whether it's over the phone with your financial institution, whether it's in the office with your supervisor, whether it's around the dinner table with your family, as soon as you have this conversation, you're going to be given the information you need in order to move forward. I always see the threes as expansion, and this is about expanding your reality by having these honest, difficult conversations about real challenges and trying to find real solutions. So when it comes to your finances overall, we see with temperance that there's this overall balance, and it does feel a little bit like, again, you have to be careful about what you're spending. You can't afford to be too spontaneous, but you also should be keeping an open mind about finding a way out of this. Don't limit this to how you need to live. This is just how you need to be temporarily, which is why I love that we see these 2 4s reverse. This is a temporary situation, a temporary reality check, so that you can get back to a space of not having to care so much, not having to worry, not having to check the account as much. I do see, again, a favorable outcome as long as you're able to confront this difficult conversation. So temperance is really about opening yourself up to receive by not being too proud to ask, by not being too proud to admit. So I do see, when it comes to money, the more you're able to stay on top of this in July, the more likely you're able to get out of it very quickly. This is a very dynamic energy. It's very fast, and it's there to, again, like the Wheel of Fortune, which you got already, it is there to inspire you with creative energy and to help you feel more balanced so that you're not stressed, so that you're not having to be too worried about paying those bills, and so that you do feel like things are changing. There's a change in the air when it comes to your money, and it takes this reality check for it to happen. So have those conversations, reach out, do it on your terms, admit what is challenging, and ask for solutions. Whoever you're having these conversations with, ask for solutions. Thank you so much, sweet souls. I'm going to leave that there. Thank you, Barb, for joining us. And thank you, everybody else who tuned in as well. Thank you, Jen, for popping into the chat. I hope you have a wonderful July month, Leo. Happy birthday again to the Leos celebrating in July. And until we meet again, I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead. Thanks, everyone. Bye.